Welcome out to Grady's Field here on the campus of Athletes in Action. It's the Lake Eerie Monarchs taking on your Xenia Scouts. I am Lance Morris. Alongside me for today's broadcast, Terry Lash. And Terry and myself are bringing you live coverage here of the Scouts all season long, whether it's right here at Grady's Field or on the road throughout the Great Lakes League. Terry, we are going to see a good matchup here. First game of the season, had an exhibition on Tuesday. It'll be the second game for the Monarchs. They played a game against the Licking County Settlers. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's go over a little bit of the exhibition. Terry, what did you see from the Scouts in their first game on Tuesday?
I think we saw a lot of talent, Lance. 9 pitchers saw the mound in that game, each getting about an inning apiece. Nick Shree only got a third of an inning. Joey Levitt got 1 2/3 innings, but 0 runs given up for the team and a goose egg on the scoreboard. It looked very impressive out there. Defense had 2 errors, but overall a very good performance. Again, kind of get the kinks out, working with a new team. All these guys are on Tuesday, and I thought they did a great job. A lot to look forward to this upcoming season.
And you look at the guys that pitched, you went through it, just every guy was throwing it about as well as they can outside of Nick, who's coming back from labrum surgery, so he's still trying to work all the kinks out, make sure he gets back 100% healthy. They knew he wasn't 100% going in, but wanted to get him some live game action since he hadn't seen live game action in more than a year. So today for the Scouts, it will be the same starter we had on Tuesday in Quentin Q. McGrath. Threw 1 inning, gave up 1 hit, no walks, no earned runs, had no strikeouts, but we'll see if that changes tonight. So we'll also have the Lake Eerie Monarchs today, and they played a game on Wednesday. Terry, they lost that game 3-0. What really happened with the Monarchs last night?
Well, what didn't happen was hitting, Lance, as they only got 4 hits throughout the ball game. And whenever you only put those few numbers up on the board, you know you're going to struggle throughout. But they only give up 5 themselves, but of course the 3-run differential, they really got to get the wood on the ball if they want to try to compete in some of these games. Of course, the Settlers, 3-time reigning champions of the conference. So it's going to be that was a hard game to start the season off with, but they need to get more contact on the ball.
So with that, we have the coaches doing the plate meeting, going over their lineups and what have you. We will currently step aside. We will have a live gospel reading along with prayer, and then your national anthem. Welcome back here to Grady's Field on the campus of Athletes in Action. Lake Eerie Monarchs against your Xenia Scouts. Lake Eerie Monarchs will be up to bat first. First up for them, it will be number 5, Kevin Sullivan, their shortstop. First pitch from Quentin Q. McGrath is outside for ball number 1. Start time 7:07. That one's in the dirt. That'll be ball number 2, quickly 2-0.
And Lance, Kevin was one of only 4 Monarchs to get a hit yesterday. He went 1 for 4, also had 3 strikeouts in that game against the Settlers.
The 2-0 pitch from Q. Right over the plate for strike number 1, first strike of the game. One taken on the outside part of the plate for strike number 2. That'll leave the count up at 2-2. Quentin, one of 2 lefties on the Scouts. Other one is Seth Hallmark. And the 2-2 pitch. I want to be in the dirt. That'll put the count at full. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And on Tuesday, Q had a few full counts, so he's a guy that's going to work up those number of pitches. You have to keep track of that, see how long he's going to go into this ball game, Lance.
And the 3-2 pitch. Way outside, and he will walk the first batter he faces in Kevin Sullivan.
Not the way you want to start the game. Easy free base for the Kevin Sullivan. See how the Scout defense reacts.
So now it'll be...
Next up for the Monarchs, number 10, Dan Shimilewski.
We'll have Dan Shimilewski, their left fielder. Quinn will look over at Sullivan at first. And the pitch. I want to be taken for strike number 1. Still have yet to see any of the batters swing. We'll look over at Sullivan at first. 0-1. Taken in the dirt. Evens up the count at 1-1.
Seems like he was missing low on most of his pitches, Lance. Still trying to find that strike zone.
We'll throw over to first. I'll check on Sullivan. Nothing doing. Lincoln Reed over at first. Of course, a veteran of the Scouts, his 3rd year with the program. Now the 1-1. That one's hit way up in the air. It'll go into foul territory. And that one will be caught by Lincoln Reed, the first baseman, for out number 1.
And as you can see on the webcam, there's just so much space on the first base foul territory. Lincoln can go over there, cover that vast distance, get under for the first out. Good job by Lincoln getting under that one.
So first out of the game. Now we'll have the DH Jordan Kesson up to the plate.
Now batting for the Monarchs, number 22, Jordan Kessel.
When we'll check on him over at first once again, nothing doing. He'll come to his set. He'll check on him at first, and he'll throw over again. Had to dive back in safely that time. The first pitch. I'm going to be taken a little low for ball 1. Didn't seem to miss that one by much.
Not much, Lance. He's still trying to work around those corners.
Always good to get a layout of where the umpire's strike zone will be. Find what your limit is. The 1-0 pitch. Taken right down the pipe for strike 1, evens the count at 1-1.
Kesson was another one of those Monarchs who got a hit yesterday. 1 of 4 on the team. Also struck out twice. 15 total strikeouts yesterday for the Monarchs.
That breaking pitch will come in just a tad high. Puts it at 2-1.
I was looking for a little more dip on that one. Just didn't fall.
Quinn will come to his set, and he'll check on him at first again. He'll dive back in safely. Two one pitch. That one will also be taken for a ball. It'll put the count at 3-1.
These are really patient hitters, Lancer. Working Q up the count every time he's up there on the mound. Making sure they're making him work for each and every out.
3-1. I want to be hit over toward Jonathan Bravo at second. He'll go over to first for the out, but that will allow Sullivan to advance over to second.
All right, Lance, I thought there was a shot at a 4-6-3 double play, but it's just too high of a chopper. Not a chance for Bravo to get that one over to the shortstop and throw it back to first. So he made the smart heads-up play, get into Lincoln Reed over there at first and getting the sure out.
Two down here, top of the first. Runner on second, and Laffy, the first baseman, up to the plate for the Monarchs. Look over at second and the pitch. One taken on the outside part of the plate for strike number one. Bravo slowly getting over to second. Doesn't look like he'll go to cover the bag. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Puts the count at 0-2.
First time Q's been up in the count yet. Trying to make this his last batter of the inning.
Solomon getting a nice lead off second. The 0-2. Try to get him to chase outside. Won't do it. Puts it at 1-2.
Definitely thought about it, Lance. Yeah, check and swing a little bit. Wanted to go after it. Thought better of it.
Quinn will come to his set. Look over at second. And the 1-2 pitch, he's running. But he got him looking for the backwards K for strike three. That'll be the first strikeout of the game for Q.
And just caught looking. It was Rob Haffey. I wonder if he was distracted as Kevin Sullivan was going from second to third. I think the whole time David Gott knew that was going for a strikeout because he didn't even get out of his stirrups on that one. Great job by Q getting out of the inning. Got that last strikeout, and it's looking really promising so far.
On the mound tonight for the Lake Eerie Monarchs, number 28, Alex Wagner.
So it'll be Alex Wagner starting for the Monarchs.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So Wagner will be a lefty. So first time the Scouts will have a lefty starting against him. It was a righty on Tuesday. See how much that changes what they're going to do.
They did face a lefty later on in that game. Got 2 earned runs against him, against the Spikes. They have had some success. If you remember correctly, Lincoln Reed got a late RBI in that game to get the final score of 3-0 down at Prasco Park on Tuesday night.
Of course, the Scouts have a righty-heavy lineup, have a few lefties, and Lincoln who switch hits. So we'll see if that does play to their advantage. As you mentioned, it helped in the later innings when they were facing a lefty in relief.
And we got a couple new batters to the lineup that we know nothing about. Levi Gilcrease and Kevin Merrill. So we'll have to see how they do because they were not in action Tuesday night. They just came aboard on Wednesday.
And Merrill will bat second in this inning. But, Terry, who's going to be hitting 1, 2, 3 for the Scouts in this bottom half of the first?
The side coming out for the Scouts will be Christian Binger, the right fielder. Kevin Merrill, as you mentioned, Lance, the designated hitter. And Kyle Carnahan, the third baseman, will be in the third spot.
So now the first pitch of this bottom half of the first. That'll be way low in the dirt to Binger. That'll be ball one.
I'm not going to be able to do walk-ups. It's too, I don't have enough hands to do walk-ups for the hitters. I can do pitchers, but
The 1-0 pitch. Taken inside for ball 2. That one, although it was inside, didn't appear to miss by too much.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Now the 2-0. Taken for strike number 1. First strike Binger has seen.
Binger, we know, is a patient hitter. He walked up to lead the game against the Spikes on Tuesday.
Binger went 2 for 3 on Tuesday. They will award him first base with a hit by pitch.
Now batting from the University of South Florida, number 5, Evan Merrill.
So quickly, that'll get the first guy on. That was a theme we saw a lot of on Tuesday. A lot of the first guy getting on, whether it was by walk, hit, or error.
And that's something Coach Bubba Cates really stresses. First guy getting on puts your team in a better position to score.
First pitch we've seen to Merrill. That one will be taken on the outside part of the plate for strike number 1. Merrill, a left-handed hitting outfielder, sometimes DH. He's DHing tonight from USF, South Florida.
Wagner's a sophomore pitcher hailing from the University of Toledo.
And that'll be a base hit towards right field for Merrill to get his first hit of the season and the first hit of the regular season for your Xenia Scouts.
Kevin Merrill has just been having a dominant year at USF and was playing is why he's came in so late. And he's been playing late into the season. He's just a guy that has been doing great every time he's been at the plate.
He was all-tournament team in their division late on in the season. So this is a guy, even though he was just a freshman, can definitely come to play, and that's why Coach Bubba Cates was able to put him in the number 2 hole, and he's already got a little production out of him. Kyle Carnahan now up to the plate for your Scouts with runners on first and second. First pitch to him, taken outside, ball number 1.
Is it gone?
And Kyle Carnahan got on his first 2 at-bats on Tuesday on errors. Let's see if Lady Luck stays on his side on this Thursday night.
Then had an RBI hit in the 8th and was one of the insurance runs for the Scouts. We'll check on Binger over at second. Carnahan will hit that one out into foul territory. That one will get out of play into the bullpen. That'll even the count.
Attention fans, please return all foul balls to the concession stand. We'll be handing out candy for every ball that is returned. Thank you.
Wagner will come to his set. He'll look over at second. Binger trying to force a move out of him. Carnahan will line that one over towards the Scouts' dugout. That'll put the count to 1-2.
Binger's very active on the base pass, isn't he, Lance? He's out there doing a little shimmy shake, making sure he gets inside the pitcher's head. He wants Wagner to make sure he knows he's there. Second baseman came all the way over, maybe thinking about a pickoff attempt over there at second base.
Binger is active on the base pass, was caught stealing in the opening inning of the last game. That breaking pitch just missed. That one didn't miss by much, but that will nonetheless even the count at 2-2.
Yeah. For a good there on, but just it stays alive.
Runners at first and second here in the bottom half of the first. The 2-2 pitch. He'll line that one out towards right field. It will be caught by Britt. That runners will not advance. That'll be the first out of the inning, and no runners tag up.
Next up to the
Yeah,
plate,
can of corn for Jacob Britt over there in right field. Only had to move a few feet before he was able to take care of that one.
So it'll be Carnahan's college teammate, David Gaunt, coming up to the plate.
A couple players from Washburn University, both had great seasons, a very successful squad.
Gaunt struck out in his first appearance on Tuesday, but then got 2 hits after that. And that one's lined into left field. That'll get down for a base hit. They will hold Binger at third. They will try and get Merrill over at second. He just slides back in safely. So that will now load up the bases for Wyatt Hogan, the left fielder.
And you have to think that they're thinking about sending Christian Binger in thought wiser of it, sent him back. But over there on second base, Kevin Merrill thinks that Binger's going home. Already went his way to third, stumbled a little bit, was lucky to get back in second before he was tagged out.
So now Hogan will come to the plate. Went 1 for 4 on Tuesday. Had his only hit of the ball game in the opening inning. We'll see if that translates to tonight.
In a big spot right here, can open up the scoring.
Wagner will come to his set. He'll look at Merrill over at second. And the pitch. Way inside. That'll get away from him. Binger will try to score, and he does. He will score easily for the Scouts' first run of the regular season.
Yeah, right heads-up play right there by Binger. Sees that it's a pass ball, and it's all the way to score.
So they'll advance the other runners to second and third. So solid heads-up base running by everyone involved. Now Hogan will step back in. Wagner will check over at second. And the pitch. That will be hit over to the shortstop, Sullivan. He'll go over to first for the out, and no one will be able to tag up on that one as well. So they will stay at second and third now with 2 down in the bottom half of the first.
A good job by Kevin Sullivan right there, making sure he looked off both second and third before he made a routine throw to first, keeping the runners at home. That'll bring up Lincoln Reed.
Lincoln Reed moved up a couple spots in the order with the different lineup tonight. He's playing first. He's listed as a catcher.
Went 2 for 3 the other night with an RBI. Also walked.
As we mentioned earlier, his third season with the Xenia Scouts. First pitch over the plate, but a little low. Ball 1. Lincoln always making heads-up plays whenever he can. After an error by Zach Wiley behind the dish, he knew enough to come up, grab the ball, and was able to tag the runner out, preserving the shutout. He'll line that one way out of play for strike number 1.
And just a little behind on that one. You're right, Lance. What a whale of a play that was by Lincoln the other night. It was definitely Sports Center top 10 worthy.
So the 1-1 count to Lincoln Reed. And the pitch. And he'll take that breaking ball right up center field for that will bring in another run, as well as Gaunt and Merrill will get on the scoreboard. That will put the Scouts up by a score of 3-0.
Lincoln Reed coming up big yet again, this time in the first inning with that 2 RBI single. Scouts putting up the scoring early, 3-0. Coach Bubba Case sitting over there at third base has to be smiling.
Go Crease or go Grease? I butchered that. Oops, sorry, buddy.
Levi Gilcrease, his first at-bat with the Scouts, center fielder from Baylor University. First pitch to him. Way in the dirt, but it's handled well by Stevens.
And both Gilcrease and Merrill reside from Tampa, Florida.
Lincoln will get his lead off at first, and he'll be checked on over there. He'll dive back in safely.
Getting those powder blues a little brown over there, Lance, except for there's no dirt here at Grady's Field, so I think he'll be fine.
You said it right there, Terry. Nothing I need to add.
Thank you, Lance.
The 1-0. Take the outside for strike 1. That'll even the count.
Scouts really came out firing, Lance, here on the bottom. Coach Case always talks about coming out of the gates quickly, getting that first run on the board. Not only did they do that, but they piled on 3 runs here on the bottom of the first.
Breaking pitch broke way inside. That'll be ball number 2, 2-1 the count. Lincoln will get his lead off of first. Ragnar will come to his set and the pitch. Way inside again. That'll put the count at 3-1.
And you said Lance inside. That's where he keeps missing. He's on the. That's gonna put 2 men on.
Ragnar comes to his set and the 3-1 pitch. And that'll be lined over to third. He'll go over to first for the out, and he will get the out over at first. So the Monarchs will get out of that bottom half of the first inning, but not before your Xenia Scouts do some damage. They put 3 runs on the board to take a 3-0 lead.
Lance, the bats came out. They almost went through their entire lineup, only 2 men short, went 7 strong. Compare that to the first inning of the Monarchs, who only got 4 men up, still hitless. As the runner they got on was walked to get on.
Now getting ready, top half of the second inning, once again. And this is not something we're on Tuesday, every pitcher just a
Yeah, the exhibition game on Tuesday night against the Spiders.
And like you mentioned with Nick, like we mentioned earlier, battling back from injury, had a labrum tear in his pitching arm, so hadn't seen live game action in more than a year. So Coach Yates wanted to get him out there, see just how much he could give, and at a certain point, Nick just couldn't get his stuff, couldn't reach back and throw the way he wanted to, so he took himself out of the game, and probably a wise decision as, like we mentioned, coming back from a very major surgery.
Yeah, Lance, you and I talked to Nick Street the other day. We asked him how he thought to start when. He said it did hurt a little bit, but he's going to keep rehabbing, working back into this pitching rotation.
So now as we start this top half of the second inning, Terry, who we got coming up?
For the side for the Monarchs is Jacob Britt, the right fielder, Jason Gasser, the left fielder, and catcher Sammy Stevens.
First pitch to him, taken outside for strike number 1.
Britt, another one of those UT players. He's a junior from Tecumseh, Michigan.
That breaking pitch broke way outside. That'll leave the count at 1-1.
One of 4 Rockets on this Monarch lineup.
That one will break in much of the same fashion, way outside, puts it at 2-1. So we'll have to see if Quentin can get a little more control of his curveball. 2-1 pitch. Throws that fastball right in there. It'll be stopped by or over at short, but I don't think he got that one over in time, and he did not. So that'll be an infield hit. Or had to dive for that one and just couldn't get that one over to Lincoln in time.
Yeah, just a perfectly dribbled ball right between third base and shortstop. They couldn't get to the slow roller in time to throw him out. Great effort from Kyle Carnahan over there at third, diving for it or trying to make the play, but just not enough oomph on it to get Britt out in time.
So that'll be the first hit of the ball game for the Monarchs here in this top half of the second. That'll be Jason Gasser coming to the plate. Will show bunt. That one will be fielded by Carnahan over at third. He'll go over to first, and he'll get the out in time, but that will allow Britt to move over to second on the sacrifice bunt.
And a great bunt over there by Gasser. Almost was able to get a bunt single out of that one. A great communication over there from both Quentin and Kyle Carnahan, because it looks like Quentin wanted to go for the ball throw to first, but Carnahan called it out, grabbed it, and fired it in time.
And that might be because Quentin left-handed would have had to go over across his body, would have been able to pick that up, and probably wouldn't have been able to go over to first in time for the out.
And the right man made the play.
So now with the 1 down, it'll be Sammy Stevens coming to the plate for the Lake Eerie Monarchs. Quinn checks on the guy at second, and the pitch. Taken inside part of the plate for strike number 1. Quentin will come to his set. A second. And he will lift up his legs, step off, and reset. Now we'll try this again at 0-1. That'll be lined over to Bravo at second. He'll go over to first for the out, and they will allow the runner to get over to third. So Britt will be over at third, but with 2 down.
And just keeping that runner moving along. Now over the third base, but
Now
over
to
out,
hit
and that's
the
going to end the
Monarchs.
inning. See if Q
Number
can get out of it.
third baseman Joe Boyle.
That'll be Joe Boyle, the third baseman for the Monarchs, up to the plate. 2 down here in the top half of the second. First pitch, right down Broadway for strike number 1.
And what better way to finish out the inning just like last time? Q's definitely thinking about that strikeout.
Comes to a set, the 0-1. That one will be just outside, evens up the count at 1-1. So now the 1-1 from Q. Way inside. Ball number 2.
I think he just missed by a whisker there, Lance.
That one definitely was close on that one, Terry. Probably could have leaned into that one if he really wanted to.
That was close for sure.
The 2-1 from Quentin. Outside part of the plate, strike number 2. Evens up the count at 2-2. So now we'll have to see if Quentin has enough trust in his curveball to go to the curveball, or if we'll try to get him to go for something outside of the strike zone. Coming to a set in the 2-2 pitch. Got him looking once again for strike 3. Second inning in a row. He gets the backwards K to get out of the inning. So Monarchs don't get any runs on the board as well. So the Scouts will come up with the bottom of their order. Let's see what we got. Terry, who we got coming up?
For the Scouts coming up this inning, we're going to start off in the number 8 spot, the shortstop. We're going to move to the last spot in the lineup, and Jonathan Bravo, the second baseman. And then they're back to the start of the lineup already with Christian Binger, the right fielder. He got on with a hit by pitch last time and eventually scored on that pass ball.
So Wagner will be coming out for a second inning of work for the Monarchs. Struggled a little bit in that first inning. We'll see if he can get it together or if the Scouts can add on to their lead.
Yeah, already 3 earned runs here for Wagner. The Monarchs lost yesterday, as we mentioned, to the Settlers by a score of 3-0. So Scouts already putting up big run support in this one. Considering they only had 3 runs all game on Tuesday against the Spikes, bats definitely came out in that first inning.
And you got to think Quentin has to like going out there after just 1 inning of work, coming back out with a 3-run cushion. Can't ask for too much more after just 1 inning of work.
And you can. It was Deja Q because he got the backward strike to end the inning 2 times in a row now, Lance. You got to love those results.
That's absolutely right. First time it was with the breaking pitch and then came right at him with a fastball, and they were not expecting that as he went to the curveball the first time, probably were sitting on curveball, so when it was a little faster, they weren't able to catch up to that one in time and wasn't able to. So now, like you mentioned, it'll be Austin Orr leading off this bottom part of the second.
Number 9.
Austin went 1 for 4 on Tuesday night, but he was the only player to get an extra base hit for either team throughout the whole ball game.
That is factually correct, Terry. He had that double that went right in the gap, and it was a beauty. And like you mentioned, extra base hit was the only between the 2 teams. First pitch to him will be taken low and away for ball 1.
Austin later score as Lincoln Reed drove him home with an RBI single in that game.
Pitch to Orr. I'm going to be popped out towards center, and Gasser will get under that one in time for out number 1.
Grady's field is around 390.
Johnny Bravo,
feet all the way back. Around 320 on the sides.
So that'll be Jonathan Bravo, the number 9 hitter today for the Scouts. He hit second on Tuesday. First pitch to him is a ball, low. And Bravo went 1 for 3 on Tuesday, had 2 strikeouts and a sacrifice bunt. That one will be taken on the outside part of the plate for strike one. That'll leave in the count at 1-1. He'll line that one down third base. That'll just go foul by a little bit. Puts it at 1-2.
Let's let Wagner settle down a little bit here in the bottom of the second inning.
Now the 1-2 to Bravo. That one low. Puts it at 2-2. And that's one of the constant things with our scouts. They have been very patient, rarely swinging at the first pitches. He'll hit that one outfield, and that one will be caught by Gasser. Had to go out to the warning track for that one. So a well-hit ball from Bravo ends up in out number 2.
Twice in a row, Gasser has shown his range in center field. That one spanning to his right, going to left center and putting that one away right before the warning track.
Now it'll be Christian Binger back up to the plate for the second time today. He was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat and later scored the first run of the game. First pitch to him. Upstairs for ball number 1.
Binger had an unbelievable year at Southwest Baptist University. He batted over 370. Was named all-conference.
The 1-0 to Binger outside. Ball number 2, quickly 2-0. That's something we noticed from the game time yesterday. The Monarchs finished their game in 2 hours, and it seems to be that most of their pitchers are working pretty quick, as that one will be on the outside part of the plate for strike 1 to Binger.
And Wagner can work as fast as he wants. You know, Binger's going to take his pitches, make him work for it at each at bat.
2-1. Christian will hit that one out foul. Evens the count at 2-2. A 2-2. Breaking pitch. He just gets a piece of that one. He'll hit that one back over to Wagner on the mound, and he'll go over to first for the easy out. Scouts batted out of that inning, weren't able to add to their lead as they go down 1-2-3.
Yeah, it definitely lacked the luster that the first inning had, as they get 3 straight outs and they score 3 runs in the bottom of that first inning. But because of that cushion, they've been putting themselves in a great position early in this game.
So after 2 innings to play, Scouts on top 3-0 over the Lake Eerie Monarchs. Soon we'll start the top of the third inning, and Quentin will be back out there for his third inning of work.
Quentin already with 2 strikeouts on the backwards case and the inning, catching the Monarchs looking at the beautiful horizon on this lovely Thursday afternoon here in Xenia, Ohio.
So now here in this top half of the third, Terry, who do we got coming up for the Monarchs?
Coming up for the Monarchs, Lance, will be Luke DeVenny, the second baseman, Kevin Sullivan, the shortstop who got on base walk last time he was up, and Dan Shimolewski, the left fielder who flew out to Lincoln Reed in foul territory at first, his first at-bat.
Grant will throw down to second to end the warm-up pitches, and then we'll get the ball back to Q, and we'll start the top half of the third.
Through 2, Q has only given up 1 hit and 1 walk.
Number 2, Luke Vinny. Nice one, Dewey. I didn't know who was up. Oops.
First pitch will be fouled back towards us.
Kind of that one.
Now the 0-1. He'll hit that one out towards, and Christian will get under that one easily for out number 1.
Yeah, quick. Quinn seems to control out there on that turf mound.
Next, the shortstop, number.
We'll be back to the top of the order. It'll be Kevin Sullivan coming up to the plate, and like you mentioned, Terry, he walked in. First pitch to Sullivan. Breaking pitch just didn't get in the strike zone on that one. Quinn coming back quickly with the next one. He'll get that one over the plate for strike number one. That'll leave the count at 1-1.
And Q seemed like he was struggling to find the zone early on, but he's dead set right now.
So now the 1-1. Just in the dirt a little bit on that one. 2-1. So now the 2-1. Wanted that one, but just a little bit high. Puts the count at 3-1.
I think Sullivan's going to be taking here, thinking about that second walk of the game.
Now the 3-1. Fouled back towards us. That'll put the count at 3-2.
And it was a full count last time these two battled. As we just mentioned, that one resulted in a walk. The two great battles between these two players, between Kevin Sullivan and Quentin McGrath.
The 3-2. He'll line that one over to Carnahan at third. He'll charge that one and go over to first. And he just got him over at first. A great play by Carnahan to charge that one and get the out over at first for the second out of the inning.
Awfully close over there at first base, Lance, but what a rocket over there at third from Kyle Carnahan to get the runner. Just didn't outstretch the tip of his toe, I guess. And it was a bang, bang play.
It'll be Dan Shimalewski up to the plate for the second time. He popped out in his last at. First pitch outside, ball number 1. He'll line that one over towards center, and Gilcrease will get under that one easily for the third out of the inning as the Monarchs go down 1-2-3 in the top part of the third.
Just as the Scouts go 1-2-3, so do the Monarchs, and Quentin McGrath looks to be in complete control out there on the rubber.
So Quentin's looked pretty good thus far after being a little shaky in the first at-bat to Sullivan to start off the game, but he has since calmed down, pretty good control of his stuff. We'll see if that can continue on as the game progresses. But Terry Scouts in this bottom part of the third inning.
Coming out for the Scouts in the part of the third inning, Lance, Kevin Merrill, the DH, Kyle Carnahan, third baseman, and David Gaunt, the catcher. Merrill, of course, last time singled and came all the way around to score. Carnahan flew out to right field, and David was able to score after a single as well. Both Merrill and Gaunt scored in a 2 RBI single.
So Wagner will be getting set for his third inning of work. He seemed to settle down after a very shaky opening inning.
Scoreboard right now, 3-0 Scouts. 3 hits for the Scouts in this contest. Only 1 for the Monarchs. Maybe dealing with a little bit of fatigue after their game yesterday against the Licking County Settlers. They lost that one 3-0. This is, of course, the first game of the Great Lakes League season. Scouts looking sharp so far.
Mentioned will be Kevin Merrill leading off this bottom part of the third inning for your Scouts.
The bottom half of inning number 3, the designated head of South Florida, number 5, Kevin Merrill.
Kevin Merrill, like we mentioned, just got into camp yesterday, right around 2 p.m. He since joined the team, and he's getting the start today at the number 2 hole. First pitch to him, taken right down the pipe for strike number 1. Kevin has a little bit of a family baseball pedigree. He has one brother who played at Weber International for 4 years, and his dad played at Florida Southern. Next one will be a strike as well. Puts the count at 0-2.
Yeah, great baseball bloodline there. Very Florida-based, as Kevin himself goes to the University of South Florida, the Bulls.
That one will get away from the catcher, but no one on base, so no damage done, but that'll 1-2. Now 1-2 pitch. And he'll just get a piece of that one to stay alive at 1-2.
Now it looks like it's going to be a little bit inside. So we have a meeting at the mound right now. So needs to be calmed down a little bit. Sammy Steve is going out there to make sure he's reassured.
Merrill, one of the few left-handed hitters in this lineup. 1-2 curveball is way inside, evens up the count at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch. He'll just get another piece of that one. Merrill doing a great job of staying alive with a couple, just barely getting a piece of them to stay alive.
Yeah, getting the most out of every single at-bat, that's the key, Lance. And Kevin Merrill has done that to a T right here. At that even count, fouling off, staying alive.
The 2-2 once again. He'll line that one out towards right field. That'll just get down for another base hit, his second of the ball game.
Found that sweet spot right there in the awkward area in right center between the second baseman, center fielder, and right fielder. Now Kevin Merrill right off the plane is now 2 for 2.
And he's hit both of them right out towards right field. So doing a stand in his lane and getting the ball where he needs to get that ball. So it'll be Kyle Carnahan up to the plate for the Scouts. First pitch to him. Taken low for ball number 1.
Kyle also had a great year this season. At Washburn University, he batted over 370.
Yeah, him and college teammate David Gaughan had great years we'll talk about on deck. We'll check on Merrill over at first. He's back pretty safely. Didn't even have to dive.
Wagner still looking for his first strikeout of the ballgame.
Now Wagner will come to his set. And the pitch. Way up in the infield.